that worked. Okay. Um, super weird. Hello, everyone. There we go. Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to turn that off. I do not know why my audio is so delayed. I have oh, I know what it is. Okay. Yes, that's what it is. All right. So I'm still learning how to do this triple stream thing. I think we're streaming both on LinkedIn and, well, we were. Um, I know we're streaming on YouTube, and there we go. Okay, this is lovely. Okay, yeah, fuck. I'm at the point where I'm like, screw LinkedIn. Just another place to go. But hey, Pibble. Yeah, BSoDs. Long story short, the box that I use for streaming here, um, has some issues. There. Okay, let me turn that off. And so I replaced the RAM in it. I was having blue screens of death like during the stream where it would just poof, go away. And I tracked it down to one of two things. One, I was running Windows 11 on a box that shouldn't be running Windows 11 because I was using some registry hacks and some other janky stuff. And then I kept, when I would reboot, I would see like Dell RMT, something reliable management or memory technology or something. And it would tell me I had errors. So I was like, well, I'll get some new RAM, put it in, make sure it works. Still getting those errors, going into my BIOS and seeing errors with my RAM. Some of the stuff I put in there is 3 months old. Some of it's 24 hours old. I'm already seeing errors in that. Not exactly sure what's going on with that. Why the box would be popping up that I have RAM errors. So, hey, CPO Parker, how you doing? I do not love kernel panics, Pibble, especially when I'm in the middle of a stream. So, you know, it is what it is. So, uh, what I'm going to be doing is continually working on that. So I see myself, and that's creepy. Um, let me turn. Ooh, okay. At least I'm going at like 1080p. What I haven't figured out how to do yet with my stuff is like be able to pull up and get all of the posts happening at the same time. So some of you who are watching this on YouTube might see me comment on my Twitch and Twitch on YouTube. So or YouTube on Twitch. So Pibble sounds like IMC instability. I don't know what that is. Integrated management circuits. IMC. I must crunch instability. I don't know what that is. Integrated memory controller. Well, there you go. There's that. It's on the CPU die. Oh, I have no idea. All I know is that the errors that I came up with when I was running on Windows 11 was like it would say hypervisor errors. Oh, there goes my YouTube. This is why we can't have nice things. All right, I'm gonna stop the LinkedIn one. It's really difficult to do multiple streams at the same time, and maybe it's continuing on. I don't know. DDR5. Yeah, I don't know. I was this close to buying like a cyber power PC or something like that. It's like for gamers. And one of the things that I realized was that um, like a lot of gaming PCs now don't have like Pentium i7, i9 generation chips. They have like i5s, and then they just put a big fat graphics card in it. And I'm like, that kind of makes sense. Problem is, I use an i5 at work on this POS laptop I have right over here. I'm not enthused about the i5s. And I was like, if I want a gaming machine, I want an i7, but I don't want to spend $2,000 on it. So it's a whole mess. But I appreciate everybody being here on a Friday. I was poking around. Oh, that's going to be annoying. So as true to form, true to what I said earlier in the year, later last year, earlier this year, being like 4 or 5 days ago, I do want to learn some kind of programming language. And I've seen a lot of like different kinds of memory languages, different kinds of programming languages. Rust, Golang, uh, obviously JavaScript is a language all of its own, Python, Ruby, what have you. And the one that I've always heard is not hard to pick up is Go. And wait a minute, I'm also learning a lot of new things. So let me go. Boink. Ha! Look at that. How's that for transitions? So I have my VS Code. If you want to hear the convoluted story about how I had to rebuild this box from scratch, we can talk about that later. But so what I wanted to do was, as my good friend Wimmery does, as Wimmery is going through learning about their coding methods. W3 Schools has a whole tutorial on Go. Now, is this the best tutorial? I don't know. Is it the worst tutorial? I would hope there's worse out there. Hopefully, this tutorial learning through this tutorial is not the worst one, but it is what it is. And so, but they have exercises, they have compilers. I may have to install some software. I'm hoping that doesn't require a reboot because that would be unfortunate for me. So I'm going to pop this into both chats. So for those of you on the LinkedIn and or the Twitch, both links should have the W3 School stuff in there as well. Also, the main site where Go exists and is much loved is go.dev. So there you go. You can go check that out. I think I've posted these links up before. Just wanted you to, encoding overloaded. Consider turning down. Oh, let me. There we go. Okay, encoding overload, huh? Interesting. Considering I have a nice fat graphics card. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Worst comes to worst, I'll just have to pick a stream and go with it. So, there we go. I'll do that. So, yeah, I figured it would be a good way of going through, W3 Schools is a way. They also have books on this stuff. And, let me see. Go books or books on Go. No Starch has some stuff. Fundamental Principles of Go. I believe there's a Go hacking book. So, you're going to invariably have somebody with a hoodie on the front of something, and, it's going to be a hacking book. So, here's hacker tools for Golang. So, that's available. And yeah, I mean, there's a ton of stuff out there on how to use Go for not just information security, but as a normal job. So yeah, I wanted to go through and do that. So let me see. Go start learning Go now. I guess that's as good a place as any. We'll just start with W3 Schools and poke around through this. So they start out by saying, what is Go? Go is a cross-platform open source programming language. Go can be used to create high-performance applications. Go is fast, statically typed, compiled language that feels like a dynamically typed interpretive language. You lost me. Okay, so this is where so begging my pardon, but I don't come from a coding background, so let's go see what that means. Because I'm kind of stupid. Statically typed is a programming language characteristic in which variable types are explicitly declared and thus are determined at compile time. Okay, well that makes sense. And what is so dynamically typed are perform type checking at runtime. Okay, so it sounds like this is better, right? Statically typed languages performing type checking at compile time versus runtime. And that seems like that would be more secure because you're declaring or you're type checking vulnerabilities. No. Type check vulnerability. Yeah. Okay. So type checking is oh that's a link. Let's see. Oh, here's a app. Paper sensitive type checking algorithm for type system. Okay. Okay. So type juggling. Okay. Go was developed at Google by Robert Griesmer, Rob Pike, and Ken Thompson. Ken Thompson, for those of us who do not know, I believe was involved with C way back in the day. Ken Thompson, yep. Computer science. Worked at Bell Labs for most of his career, where he designed and implemented the original Unix operating system. So he knows his way around a command line, it sounds like. This person, has done quite a bit. Yeah, so he's the oh my god. Okay, so he's also done a lot of work on regular expressions, which is another thing. Did he create grep? I mean, how do you, wait a minute. Okay, so before it was named, grep was a private utility written by Ken Thompson to search files for certain patterns. Okay, so of course grep is like it stands for something like regular expression check or something like that. Let me see, what does this stand for? grep was globally search for regular expression and print matching lines. So that's what grep stands for. CPO Parker, hello. For simple scripts, 1 page or so, dynamic makes things faster, easier to write. As the programs get larger, static typing makes it easier to build larger programs. Also, a debate like Emacs and VI. Then okay, I can understand that. My thought with Go being statically, typed at compile time means there's less chance for runtime vulnerabilities. I'm something's tickling the back of my brain, Walt, in terms of that, like the vulnerabilities in Java where you're I'm trying to remember it. Type Java vulnerabilities. It's something. There's some kind of specific type of vulnerability in Java that is like tickling the back of my brain here. Yeah. No. Okay, that's not it. It has something to do with like being able to change the type of data inside of a deserialization or something like that. That's what I'm thinking of. Deserialization type errors. So so Walt says that this is a debate like VI and Emacs. Okay. Well, I'm sure there's pluses and minuses to both doing one or the other, right? So yeah, type checking or what have you. Yeah. All right. So Go's used for web development, network-based programs, developing cross-platform enterprise applications, and a cloud-native development. I also understand that it's a Go in malware. Go is on the rise in malware, as we've found out, becoming more and more popular because Go programs can be compiled for multiple operating systems and architectures in a single binary, self-containing all the needed dependencies. Um, so they don't have to build a Linux version, a Windows version, and a Mac version. They'll just build one version, and so that ends up being the better option. So according to Avast, .io, the number of detections have gone from 0 to 2. Um, so yeah, late April, and this was as of April of like 2022. So this was written in July, but I believe there was an even later. Yeah, see, so they're saying it's now common, according to them, in February of 2021 on ZDNet. So let me see. So yeah, see, crypto mining campaign hitting Linux users with a Go-based malware. So it's good to go through some of this, and just, here's a botnet for Go, December 7th, 2022. So, I mean, it's definitely a thing. And, if you don't understand Go and you see some Go malware, it might be something you want to look at. So, boink, let me pop that in the various chats here. There you go. That's a legitimate use case. So IoT using Go-based botnets. And since, like it said, everything is self-contained in the executable, you don't have to worry about living off the land, right? Or using libraries that are on the system itself, because everything is there and it runs and it's all good and everyone's happy. So, that was one thing I was like, well, if it works, if everything works across all the platforms and we don't have to worry about trying to, uh, you know, some software requires you to have certain tool chains installed somewhere. I remember having to build OpenSSL and OpenSSH on a Windows box for Windows and trying to, back in my limited days, compiling OpenSSL and OpenSSH so that it would we could build a binary of it and not have to use something like WRQ reflections back in the day to license to our customers. So it was up to me to try to figure that out. The problem was I would compile the software on my laptop. It would take 5 minutes to run through because my laptop was, not fast like back in the day. It would get to a certain point and fail, and it was because I didn't know how to statically and dynamically add libraries to the compile time, and it would error out at a certain spot. And I did a ton of research on trying to get that to work, and finally got it to work. But then it was decided to just bite the bullet and enjoy the paying of the WRQ reflections back in the day. So, according to W3 Schools, why use Go? It's fun and easy to learn. We'll see. Go has a fast runtime and compilation time. Okay, that sounds fine. Go supports concurrency. Now, that's one of those words I have no idea what that is. Concurrency means multiple computations are happening at the same time. Okay. Concurrency is everywhere in modern programming, whether we like it or not. Multiple computers in a network, multiple applications running on one computer, multiple processors in a computer. Okay, so it's all like a multi-threading or something. The applications are multi-threaded, is what it sounds like. Yeah, multiple cores, multiple processors, multiple computers. Okay, so it allows concurrency, allows for no built-in concurrency mechanism. So this is how they're trying to sell Go versus Python or C++. So they're statically typed like C++ with a fast runtime. It's compiled, whereas Python has an interpreted compile. C++ has a slow compile time, but Go has a fast compile time. So Go is better than both of these, according to this. So this is a nice breakdown of how or why you should use those systems. So automatic garbage collection, that's something that even Java, you have to set up, is what I've always heard. So again, the only experience I have learning Java was a 5-week course back in 2007 at University of Phoenix for 5 weeks, where I went through a Java Programming for Dummies book. So, my experience with that is limited. Does not support classes and objects. That's interesting. Okay. And does not support inheritance. I'm going to have to, can be lighter weight than threading. Okay. Pivotal, I'm gonna allow that because my okay, all right, wait a second. Okay. I'm gonna have to go in, fix. I've got my analog computer right here. I'm going to have to go in and fix language lists for bot, because crap is not a bad word. Crap is not a bad word. At least not in my vernacular. I say things awfully word batted. Um, so crap is not a bad word. Um, there we go. Fixed it, or I will fix it. So, um, so holy crap, you means it? You mean it supports threading? Uh, yes, yes, Pimple. I will go with the yes on that. Um, that's what it sounds like to me. It supports concurrency. So concurrency is performing multiple things out of order or at the same time without affecting the final outcome. So there you go. I guess it has controls against race conditions as well, maybe. Go has Go routines. They support multiple execution times at a language level without the overhead of OS level threads. Walt, Walt knows a lot about stuff. He does development here in the Seattle / Tacoma area. So um, I'm going to defer to Walt on that. I cannot say yes or no on that. He's saying a bunch of stuff that I'd have to go look up anyway. So I will definitely probably be looking that up. Yeah. So there we go. This tutorial will teach you the basics of Go. It is not necessary to have any prior programming experience. That's me. All right, let's get started. So we need a text editor like VS Code. Ding. Hello, VS Code. So I have been working on my laptop, which is right here, my Lenovo, which is the backup streaming box, which I'll be cursing if this shit blue screens in the next 25 to 45 minutes. But I have VS Code on there. I've got it set up. I've been using GitHub. I have a GitHub that I use that I've actually been creating markdown files like to-do files and what have you. I don't have any of that set up here because I literally finished installing all the things I needed with Windows 10 in the last hour, including my audio, which I hope is sounding fairly well. So let's see. Go. There we go. Do you want to install the recommended extensions? Let me go back over here, make sure I've got everything I can see. All right, so what I'm hoping to do, we'll do this, move some things around here on the screen. What I'd like to do is to be able to show both the web browser and the stuff we're going to be poking around on. So I may have to increase a font size to make it look pretty or readable to folks. Same time, I increase the size of VS Code so that we'll get all the information there. Do you want to install it? Yes, let's install the recommended Go extensions. That looks good. What does this do? Go extension for VS Code. Go extension provides rich language support for Go programming. Remote attached debugging. I have no idea what any of that is. Quick start. Install Go if you haven't already. Ooh, okay. Let's go do that. Okay, so please don't ask me to reboot my box. All right, so this is on go.dev/DL. Let me make a link to that here. So the site asked you to download Go. So I'm going to go and download the latest version of MSI 64-bit. There we go. This one here, which is 135 megs. So it shouldn't take hardly any time at all. Done. Oh, I'm reminded of dial-up times when it was like 5K to download something. Yeah, that was fun. Delete. Yes, let's delete the LinkedIn because I'll probably just upload it later to LinkedIn. Next. All right, so we're going to install it in program files. Go. None of you can see this because I've just shared out the browser and the VS Code. I haven't shared out the whole screen because pushing a 4K image really dorks with my graphics card load. So it's pretty much your normal setup. There's an end user agreement which nobody reads except the terms. Destination folder. Click next to install the default folder, which is program files /go. Yes, and then click OK to begin the installation. It's going to do UAC because it's going to blank my screen. There it goes. Okay, UAC's been activated. It's validating the install. I'd like to thank all of the new followers, by the way, while we're sitting here. Got a bunch of new folks. Got a bunch of new folks added to the YouTube channel, which is always fun seeing that. Let me see. Activity feed. Yeah, we've got Ma Eames 8637 and Shields Up followed a few days ago. So thank you so much for all of that. So far, no chatters on the YouTube channel, so that's okay. That's good. No worries. Boy, it's copying new files slowly. This is a fairly fast SSD, so it's going. It's going. Oh wow, it's not even showing. Oh, okay, that's because I have the screen paused on the YouTube channel. All right, so it says finish. All right, so I will finish. And then it says install the Go extension. Okay, open any working directory or workspace containing Go code to automatically activate the extension. The Go status bar appears on the bottom left corner of the window and displays your Go version. Okay. Cool. Okay. So for those of you who've never used VS Code, it's pretty nice. And I don't hate it. I mean, I've used Notepad++, I've used Atom, I've used several markdown editors, Notepad, what's the other one? Notepad++, um, Cherry Tree, those kinds of things. Those are more self-hosted wiki things. But yeah, there's a lot to be said for using this. There's a lot of integrations to it. There's source control, so I could open and clone a GitHub repo. You can actually create workspace folders. So I need to create a workspace. Let me see. Open folder. So what I'll do is I'll just create a folder here called GoTut. Golang. We'll just call it Golang. And then I'll really, folder name is not valid. Are you on crack? All right, you know what? I'm just going to put it right on the desktop. So y'all create a new folder called Golang. Select folder. All right, there we go. Selected the folder. Yes, I will trust all the files in that system. Yes, I trust the authors because I am me, and me is good. So we'll create a new file. I don't do Jupyter notebooks yet. That's something I'm probably going to have to teach myself at some point. Select file type, Go. Hope that works. And Golang, so this will be Go tutorial 1. We'll just call it Go tutorial 1. Okay. I don't know what Go is, on that is. Since I've installed Go on the system, we'll see what happens. All right, so go back to the site. We close this down. I will put the, Go tutorial hack links in YouTube just in case people want to poke around with some hacking tools that are written in Go. I mean, I can definitely see the appeal of Go from a offensive security tool point of view or a blue team tool point of view. If you create a blue team tool in Go, you don't have to worry about having 5 different versions of it in your environment. You can deploy to all your Linux folks, all your Mac folks, all your Windows folks, and you're solid. So you're basically cutting down on the amount of development time needed, and not needing like 4 different types of tool chains or what have you. I don't know if it'd work on Android though. I mean, Android's just a Linux derivative, right? So you would think you'd be okay with if you can put it on the system, you might have to package it up as an APK, which I believe an APK is just some kind of modified zip file. I don't know what would happen with that. If anybody does any mobile development, if they do it in Go, let me know. Would love to talk to you about that. Oh, speaking of which, Jamboree, who we've had on Operator, who we've had on the show, talking about Jamboree. Was it God damn it, OP Operator. He's on our Discord. He mentioned that Jamboree now uses OWASP Zap as well, so it'll give you the option of installing Burp or OWASP Zap for your mobile application testing and things. So there's another good thought there. Concurrency. All right, get started. All right. You'll find the relevant installation files, golang.org. Okay, so you can use golang.org/dl if you'd like to do that as well. If Go is successful, you can run the following command in a terminal window. So I believe it's Control F. No, it's not. Fine. File. Terminal. Where's the terminal? Oh, there it is. Terminal. New terminal. Come on. No. Oh, wait. Is that it? Oh, okay, there it is. Go version. Ah. Well, that's not good. Oh God. Yeah, that swamp ass is coming back, isn't it? You know what? Let me go check PowerShell. I'll do it from the command go. Okay, so window capture PS shell. Yeah, so there you go. You can see that I've successfully the terminal inside of VS Code doesn't see it, but the PowerShell shell that I have 731 does show me with Go and running the version 1.19.1 Windows AMD 64. So I will drop that just in case I need that terminal again at some point in the near future. I will just disappear that for a while. Okay, so go install the IDE. Okay, well, okay, so we have VS Code. So we already have VS Code installed. So we have an IDE or an integrated development environment. A lot of people use if you use Python, you might use like PyCharm or God knows what else you have in there. You may need to restart VS Code for it to pick up a new path. Oh, you know what? You might be right. Okay, let's see what happens if I do that. Okay. Terminal. Oh, see, there's my terminal. See that's Walt. Walt's the man. Walt's the man. There you go. See, Walt's the man. He's got it. You're absolutely correct. So thank you so much, Walt. 100 quatlus to you and your awesomeness there. Okay, so let's create our first Go program. Launch the code editor, open the extension and press Control-Shift-X. All right, Control-Shift-X. Find the Go extension by the Go team at Google and install. So the Go team at Google, all right, we already installed that. It's already installed. Run the Go install update tools command, select all the provided tools and click OK. I've done that, I think. All right, so we'll close that. I'm gonna close this extension thing. I would also, if I had set up my VS Code stuff properly, I probably would have installed Markdown previews, those kinds of things, and then had where I could take notes. I'm using Analog Computer right now to take notes. So anything that comes up or somebody was like, Walt said, you may need to restart VS Code to make it happen. That's fine. So we will go open up a terminal window. And so what I'm going to try to do when I'm learning this, and the way I'm going to learn it is copy paste, I learn nothing. So if I have to peck at the keyboard with my fingers and put things in, then that's what we're going to do. So go, and of course you're going to find out that I don't type well if I'm trying to look at a screen, and sometimes I have to look down. So I apologize ahead of time. Or, if my Bluetooth keyboard just decides it wants to go, cat typing detected and do that kind of thing, which is kind of annoying. So go init example.com. Hello. Okay. So it says, do not worry if you do not understand why we type the above command. Just think of it as something that you always do and that you will always learn more about, or that you will learn more about in a later chapter. Okay, so I'm assuming, okay, so go some kind of module. So go module init. So there's a module called init. Example.com/hello. It almost looks like Docker kind of syntax where it's like, Docker init something, 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 and example.com/hello would be like the Docker instance that you want it to run in this case. So it says it created the new go.mod module example.hello. All right, there you go. All right, so can I mod up? No, okay. So I think oh, there's a lot of wasted screen space here. So apologize for that. I'll have everything moved around properly here in the next few weeks as we go through this. I do want to do this at least once a week. I don't want to do it every day, every stream, but like maybe go Fridays or something like that, or go Tuesdays or something like that. So all right. So do not worry. Create a file, new file, paste and copy paste the following code and save file as helloworld.go. File save as. All right. So file, new file, and helloworld.go. Damn. Okay. So go pls command is not available. Run go install v golang. I have no idea why it would do that, but okay. Go outline command is not available. Go run that. Okay. See how easy it would be to fish me? Just, send me a pop-up in VS Code that says, oh, click here to install click here to install this package. So let me see. Go installing 8 tools. Go test, go modify tags, IMPL, go play, DLV static check, go please, PLS, or go please, go dash outline. So it's installing these into my users, Brian, go bin, go test.exe, go modify tags.exe, go lang. Okay. Users, Brian, go PLS succeeded. All tools are installed. You're ready to go. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Oh, analysis tools are missing is what it says. Not all Go tools are available on the Go path. All right. So we're poking around here. We're learning us some Go. All right, we're installing the thing. I'm assuming at some point, once all of these have succeeded. Oh, see, well, I was gonna say one of these has succeeded. All of these tools would be installed. So, all right, so we are going to type package main import fumit. Anyway, all right, I'll try not to copy. I'll try to love the white space as they do. So, and then space, and we're going to create a function. So I'm not a completely green idiot about coding. I do recognize functions. I do recognize where certain things are, like if statements and those things. I have tried to learn how to use things like Python and Ruby and those, and I have looked at code, I don't write code like Walt does on a regular basis. I'm actually just still learning how to use Git, for God's sake. So things like Git blame I thought was, oh, this is how we blame people for problems. That showed my noobness. Obviously, Git blame is not for blaming who fucked up the code. So there you go. All right, so we have an open parenthesis. All right, so far everything seems to be working fairly well. Let me know if that is too small a font size. I can definitely make that larger. So, I thought you'd get a good joke out of that, Walt. I actually did think Get Blame at one time was that is how you say this person actually created this vulnerability or this code. So yes, I'm a bit of an idiot there. So it is what it is. Go hello world, and then looks like we're doing. It's got so it looks like that there's some kind of, I wouldn't say linter, but there's some kind of best practice thing in here. So as you saw when we created the function or we created the open parentheses, it automatically added the closed parentheses. Same thing for the bracket. When I added a bracket, it added the closed bracket next to it. How many times, and I'm sure Walt can attest to this, how many times have you had to do code audit trying to figure out why something wouldn't compile or wouldn't work and you're missing a closed parentheses or a bracket or a brace or something like that, some kind of little middling thing that you just constantly scan over and not miss or not, not realize that it's not there. So obviously they have some kind of best practice linter or something in there that automatically says, hey, if you're going to have an open bracket, you're going to need a closed bracket, or parentheses or single quotes or double quotes, you're going to need those things. So there you go. All right, so it says copy and paste the following text and save the file as hello world go. All right, so I want to try to use as many shortcuts as possible, but I will go and use file save as. File save as is Control Shift S. You can also just use Control S. When I was trying to learn how to do everything and doing Git, Control Shift G was also where it would go into the commit area. So I'm gonna do Control Shift S, Control Shift S, and it's going to save it there because I saved it as a 0 length file. So package main. Oh, so it's interesting. Okay, so it automatically put a space there. See, this is one of the problems I have with like when I was trying to learn Python first starting out, or no, sorry, it was PHP. I was a new infosec person and I was really hardcore about doing things. And one of the things that I had read about in this PHP book was, here's how to set global variables. And then I go and read online about, how not to set global variables. And this book was like, here's how to set global variables incorrectly and insecurely. And I was like, well, at what point is it going to tell me, not to do it that way? And this book never did. So looks like by saving it, some of the Go plugins in the system here has changed and modified some things. I'm not sure I like that, but so it added a space after main, and it also separated that stuff out. So I don't know if that's a linter kind of best practice or whatever. I guess it doesn't matter as long as it actually, compiles when I do the thing here. So, okay, so in the terminal, I'm going to go run /hello world.go. Hello world. All right, so if that hadn't have worked, what would have gone wrong? Let me see. What if I did that and then control S and then ran that again? Okay, so hello go 7. I'm guessing they want line 7. First one, expected string found function. Interesting. So yeah, that would be an interesting one. So okay, so that was the error you got when you did not include your close brackety bits. I guess it would be something similar here if you did this and ran command line arguments hello world expected end of file, expecting, so I was expecting that, but didn't get that. So that's a little smarter than some things I've had to deal with in the past. So I'll hit Control Z to bring that back in. VS Code also does colored coding to show different parts of the Golang syntax. Strings are a different color from statements. Go has a Go format command that reforms Go code. Go community standards are that all code is reformatted using Go FMT. I like that. I like standards. I like everybody does the same thing. Oh God, the discussions I could have with you people right now about shit that's going on in my workplace. Ugh. Especially on standards. So that's awesome that they required Go FMT. So Walt, what you're saying is W3 schools is not actually following Go FMT, because if they had done it right, this would have been formatted according to Go FMT. Okay. So that was that. So I've also noticed that it has a trailing end here. Oh, and by the way, if any of you have issues, yeah, well, there you go. I don't know how old this tutorial is there, Walt, but yeah. By the way, it was good seeing you last night, Walt. Good seeing. We had CSEC East last night. Had a small turnout. That's okay. We had Ted and Walt and I forget the other gentleman's name. But yeah, it was a good discussion. We had some good times in Bellevue. We have a couple of more sessions left before I go, and I think we're going to have some people join. Yeah. Uh, what was I talking about? Off. Okay, let me try that again. There we go. Okay, so go run hello world. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You've written and executed your first Go program. Yay! Um, if you want to save the program as an executable, type and run go build. Okay. Go build dot backslash hello world dot go. Oh, my bad. My bad. I didn't save that. All right, there we go. Let's try that again. Okay. And let me enable the preview and everything. All right, so there's the PowerShell scripts thing. Let me go to no. Okay. Oh, desktop. Go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's hello world.exe. So there you see the hello world.exe. I'm assuming oh, hey Lady P. What's up? Hey, how you doing? Um I appreciate you being on. I I can't imagine what you've been going through. I hope you finally gotten a handle on all the work you've been doing with your incident response there, and not disaster recovery, but make it. Holy shit! Look at that. So that's a big file. Can I do ls-h? Nope. Apparently it doesn't. It'll do ls. It just won't do all of the ls human readable stuff. So, um, yeah, 2 MB for Hello World. I think as we mentioned, let me turn off the whoops, wrong one. PS shell. They did say one of the bits is that everything is self-contained inside of Go. Right. It is, yeah, high performance cross-platform statically typed compile language. So everything is self-contained, right? So it would mean that everything's kind of bigger, right? It contains all the libraries statically linked to no DLLs, right? Right. So everything is self-contained. I could definitely see the other advantage for malware creators: a Go executable with all of its stuff inside of it. Um, Depending on the size of the application, may evade some antivirus, because in the past, and my limited experience and knowledge is that they try to be as small as possible, right? Because they have to be like hiding in plain sight or something. So your Go executable at 10 megs may get by antivirus or EDR because who would create malware that big, right? Lady P, I can't do assembler. I'm just trying to. I'm just one. I'm just one man, just trying to make it in this world. And yeah, I mean, there's obviously more efficient ways of writing the code. If I'm sure somebody can write this in a 20 kilobit Python script. I do think it's like we'd mentioned. I think it's pretty cool that all the tool chains and everything are in the applications themselves, so you don't have to install like Ming W32 to be able to cross compile through Linux and Windows and what have you. So yeah. All right, so we go back to get installed. Quick start. We've done all that. Okay, so we've written our first thing. I've tried it myself. So if you don't have VS Code and you don't want to do all that, they do have a fancy try it editor that you can use to write things. But as Walt had stated, Go FMT and all that, they're not. They're apparently not taking that into account here. So as you see the differences between the code for Go FMT, which is I guess their linter or what have you. VI still works fine, sure, absolutely. Um, following community standards or what have you, they this will work as well. If you use, if you are, you can actually probably remove FMT if you're worried about formatting certain things. I wonder what would happen if we removed FMT, because you're importing something, right? So do you need that? Can I just do that? Okay, so it still works. Oh wait, what the hell? I told it to remove that. Don't you dare. It's gonna add it back in, isn't it? Oh, okay. So that worked. So you could remove the FMT part, but it's still compiled. That's really weird. All right. So Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. All right. So they have a compiler inside the system here to do that as well. Spin, 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 and it says "Hello World." So there you go. Yeah, there we go. Move that down here. If you have any issues like problems with color blindedness or something like that, and the colors are weird, I just did this high contrast because I just wanted want the a black background with the text. So if something's not showing up or it's a different color than what you're used to, please let me know and I'll do what I can to adjust the colors accordingly or pick a different theme or what have you. So. But yeah, if you don't have VS Code and you don't want to do all that, W3 Schools does have a try it editor, and I'm assuming you're going to run this, and it's going to be very similar to the code down here where you're running it or compiling it or what have you. Um, so all right. So next, the Go syntax. The Go file consists of the following parts: a package declaration, importing packages, functions, statements, and expressions. So to look at the code to understand it better, line 1, in Go, every program is part of a package. We define this using the package keyword. So we have package main. Okay. Yeah. Didn't I think doesn't like C or something always start out with whatever main is or yeah, anyway, I don't want to confuse people because I'm getting confused myself. So I guess the first line on every program is this, almost like the whiz bang statement in a like when you have a whiz bang bin bash. So you have something similar here where package main is always like the first line on the script. So I guess it doesn't matter about white space. I always want a trailing edge. So all right. So package for FMT. Import FMT lets us import files in the FMT package. Seriously. See, this is the problem I have with some discussion. It doesn't really explain shit. It just says, "Oh, we're going to import files from this package." Okay, well, what's in the package, right? Go FMT package. All right, so I mean, it sometimes it feels like, oh, well, we're just going to import this because this is what should be done. Well, does it? You know, that kind of thing. So. Package FMT implements formatted input output, so that's what IO is, with functions analogous to C's printf and scanf. Format verbs are derived from C's but are simpler. So here's the verbs. Like print line, yeah. %V, the value in a format, printing structs, yeah. So there's various things like integers, floating point, bits. So it's adding constants, it's adding other things, including like what Walt said, print line, giving you understanding of those things. It sets the stage for everything else, right? So there's a whole big bunch we can read here on this. floating point values, other flags. If you put a plus, you'll always print a sign for numerical values, a minus pad with spaces on the right rather than the left. Wow. They get real specific, don't they? Flags ignored by verbs, do not expect them. This will print 23. Okay. So, I mean, I haven't even gotten down to halfway on the screen, so there's a whole bunch going on here with this. So, just to give you an idea, looks like they do a fairly decent job of um, documenting things. Last time this was published was last month, which is nice to see an update for that. Oh, the license is a 3-clause BSD license, so that's nice. It's not as unrestrictive as a 2-clause or an MIT license. 2-clause BSD license. It's a 3-clause BSD license. It's not GPL or some bullshit like that. So, but yeah, there you go. Definitely not OGL. We could talk about that all day too. All right, so a blank line. So Go ignores white space. Having white spaces in code makes it more readable. That's true. And you also saw where it makes changes where it automatically breaks out the left and right, the brackets and the braces and the parentheses. They didn't do that here, but they would do it in the Go format for VS Code. Go statements. So function main is a function. Any code inside the curly brackets will be executed. Okay, that makes sense. Very much like any other, when you go into Python or something like that, a function is inside the curly brackets. Format line is a function made from the FMT package, like Walt said. It is used to print our output text. In our example, it will print hello world, or it output hello world. In Go, any executable code belongs to the main package. I believe that's similar to how C does it as well. I'm waiting for the people to tell me I'm wrong. So, but I believe in main in C is where your code is, or where the executable parts is in your code. And considering Ken Thompson was also one of the creators of C, or one of the major contributors to C, that makes sense as well. So, all right. FMT println hello world is a statement. So FMT, of course, you see the package, so it's calling the package dot, and then the dot after that is pulling the necessary bits from that package to tell you how to put hello world out there. That's how I'm um, interpreting that statement. In Go, statements are separated by ending a line, hitting the enter key, or by semicolon, semicolon, which Hitting the enter adds the semicolon to the end of the line implicitly. It does not show up in the source code. Interesting. Okay. The left curly bracket, which is the one that points this way, cannot come at the start of a line. Run the following code and see what happens. Whoa. Wait a minute. So okay, I see the issue here. If I had done this is bad, apparently. According to W3 schools. Now I would actually like to know if that is bad or not. Yep, there you go. All right, so unexpected semicolon or new line before that. So yeah, that makes sense. So that is why that won't run. But okay, so yeah, I did that. That makes sense. All right, Go compact code. What? You can write more compact code like shown below. This is not recommended because it makes the code more difficult to read. Okay. I hate they force you to cuddle braces. Excuse me. Nope, not gonna say it. Um, I'm gonna go look it up because my first thought was, well, you know, if you want to cuddle, you have to like take it to a movie first. Major argument to cuddle or not. Should you place curly braces on the same line as the statement cuddle or on the next line? It's a debate that has raged for years and is unlikely to be resolved until curly braces in code become obsolete. Despite that, I thought I would share my opinion on the topic. I don't care about your opinion, just give me the facts. First, though, let's look at both sides of the argument. Okay, so cuddled. I'm gonna make this a little bigger so everybody can see it. Same line, cuddled. Okay, so same line example. If A equals B, and then you've got this. Okay, I get that. And then empty line, else, and then that. Arguments in favor of same line formatting more readable because it reserves vertical white space. Okay, whatever. Next line. So this is next line formatting, which I guess is explicitly not allowed according to Go FMT. More readable because it's easier to justify the start of code blocks and easier to line up start and end braces. Okay, I guess. I haven't written enough code to know, so I'm not going to, say that's yes or no. Yes, it is. Go requires K&R and not GNU style for braces. That's what Walt just said. Lady P says yes, it is. I'm assuming it's more readable. She likes her some this way and not the other way. Reinforces lexical and logical meaning of the code, meaning more clearly identifying a code block. Separates multi-line statement declarations, which are function declarations with a large number of parameters from the code within the block. Because you can line up blocks. Okay. Oh, this guy's Team Cuddly there, LP. Yeah. Aw. Cuddly. Loves the cuddly. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna pop this onto the chat just so everybody has this. Add them to your list. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Wowie wow. Lady P, I don't have any opinion one way or another. I guess like most folks, it's just a function of what works for you. So I would say you probably wouldn't want to use whatever linter, I think that's what they call them, like whatever the coding standards are inside of Visual Studio Code for that. Yeah. So as we've seen, W3 schools, it does some of the things that Visual Studio Code does, but other ones don't. So it's all a matter of style, right? Wherever you work is going to follow certain style guides. You may actually, cuddle your braces, and you may not cuddle them elsewhere. So, but I get it. It's like, I guess there's more VI and Emacs kind of killer debates everywhere. So, yes, you could do it like this. Um, you see that a lot with one-line scripts as well. So, you, Lady P, you could write it the right way, then pretty printer it to the wrong way. I did that for decades. Is built into the Go parser. It may be a reason why the compiler is fast. Oh, okay, that's good to know. Um, insert the missing piece of code to output hello world. Well, wait. So we've already kind of done that. So function main, this would be fmt dot prinln. That should be the correct answer. Ding. Okay. Actually, I probably should have like logged into this thing so I could have kept track of this. But all right. See, some of these I know because this is like from JavaScript, so this would be that would be the correct answer for that one. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. All right, next. Comments. Of course, comments are a text that is ignored upon execution. In HTML, it's usually a hashtag. You can also use // which is what Go uses apparently, // // I call them // because they lean forward, / because they lean backwards. Some people do that. So they say this is a comment. Ideally, you want to put as many comments as you can in without doing things like, hey, we should probably fix this part later because this is hot garbage. And or hiding development pages. Some of the best flags you can find in a CTF is looking at the comments in an HTML file or what have you. Lady P says reduced to machine code, it's exactly the same number of compares. I'm not like, it didn't freeze. I'm just trying to understand what Lady P is saying here. Reduced to machine code, it's exactly the same number of compares. Okay. I'll take your word for it, Lady P. All right, so we did that. We tried ourselves. All right, so what we'll do is we will add on line 0. I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to go deg dank. This is a comment. Package main, all right, and then main function. So you can actually put things inside the function as long as they say this is a comment. All right, and then I'm assuming you're gonna Control Shift S, and I'll save that as Hello World 1. Just to, I don't have versioning information yet because I don't have my GitHub and everything running up. But if I did, I'd have gone like Control Shift G, and then it would have been like, what changes have you made to this code? Then I would have put in a commit message. Would have been like minor changes because it takes too much to actually do all that shit. And then submitted it, which is this spot right here. Go control source control when you hit Control Shift G. So, and as you can see, we have all of our stuff under the Golang folder. So, all right. So number 12. All right. So I'm going to run Hello World 1 Go, and it's still compiled. It still ran, and it still put the comments in. So that makes sense. Oh, you can actually put it at the end as well. Oh, very cool. Okay. So you can anywhere there's a // it will. Okay. Control Shift S. 2. And then 2. Oh my God. An hour and 18 minutes. Wow. how time flies when you're having fun. Um, Cuddling may speed up the lexer that Go is using. Okay. CPO had alluded to it impacting speed. Speed of the compiler, not speed of the resulting code. Okay. I mean, I'm compiling this, which probably takes all of about 2 seconds, right? So, I mean, I doubt my CPU even has a blip where the compile happened. Let me go see. I'm gonna turn on Task Manager here. Nobody can see that, but I mean, I'm all right. Let's. Oh well. So the minute I hit run for Hello World 2, my CPU is running at about 7 to 9%. The minute I hit run, it pops up to about 18%, 18, 16, 9. So it did pop a little bit. So and you can actually see the change. So it actually did, it did make a marked notice in my CPU. I mean, I have 32 cores, so it shouldn't make much of a difference, but you could definitely see the output change. All right. Multi-line comments. Okay, this is very much like JavaScript, where you use forward slash asterisk, and then you end with an asterisk forward slash. So any text, multi-line text will, let's see. Oops. All right. I'm going to get rid of that line there. All right. So we go backslash the code below will print hello world to the screen, and it is amazing. As you can see, the code color changed. Well, for those of you not dealing with, you can see it went from green for format fmt.line print to that. So you can, right now it's still technically as part of the comment. As a matter of fact, even the comment that I added at the end of the line is still a part of the comment. So, oh, God bless. That's what I get for taking my fingers off home row. So you can remove the comment here and Control Shift S. Hello World 3. And then run. You rat bastard. And it should still run, yeah. So there you go. Nice. Okay. Most programs, so Lady P says most programs are slightly more involved, but if that does impact compile and link speed, the compiler should be optimized. That's a good indicator the machine code is unoptimized. Good point. Go is built to have a very fast compiler, not like C++. Okay. No, that's not what I wanted. There we go. All right, so here's Task Manager. And Go is well, yeah, of course Go is written in Go, right? All right, so you see the CPU is at 7% right now. Oh, wait. Damn. So you click run, you can actually see it pop up. So 2017 8. So I mean, it did make a bump in those. So that was, I was just trying to show everybody that it did make that pop for that. So all right, so let's see, try it yourself. I've done that. It's up to you what you want to use. Normally we use / for short comments and that for longer comments. I guess that makes sense. So I wonder what would happen if you, so if I went, okay, so now I've got junk code, because if it goes to the next line, it will only stay on that line. I'm imagining if you're in a terminal or something like that where there's 80 characters and you get sent over, if it goes back to the next to new line, or there's some issue there, you'll run into problems. I don't know. Not all languages are written in themselves. So wait, Walt, what's the C compiler written in? Right, Python and Ruby are a hybrid of C and the language. Okay. Oh, okay. So there you go. It's written in assembler for those of you who are like, what did they say? It was written in assembler. So the C compiler is written in assembler. All right. So yeah, good best practices if you know you're going to be particularly loquacious about your remarks that may actually go across more than one line. Always make sure you use the right syntax. I mean, technically, if you wanted to use one line and use the multi-line, that would be the best way of doing it. I mean, well, it's not the best way. I mean, it is a way of doing it. But if you ever make a single line comment that's long enough that it goes beyond, say, like 80 characters or something in the line, I don't know what would happen with that. It would seem to me that you'd want to make sure that you're not causing compilation errors if the system doesn't tell you that. So, all right. Comment to prevent code execution. Oh, very nice. You can also use comments to prevent code from being executed. The commented code can be saved for later reference and troubleshooting. Oh, well, that makes sense. Okay, so you're doink doink, and that comments everything out. Go was in C, then moved to Go. Huh. That's interesting, Walt. Okay. Now, not back in the beginning, you bootstrapped in assembler. Okay. Interesting. That is interesting. Writing Go for Go, then bootstrap. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Go exercises. Okay, so test yourself. Comments in Go are written in with a special character. Which one? Okay, so there you go. Submit the answer. Got that one right. Okay. Um, yeah. So multi-line comments in Go are written with a special character. Which one? So it's that. So / asterisk, and then asterisk / and that's how you do multi-line comments. Yep. All right. So we'll figure out variables in a second. All right, next. All right. So variables. Variables are containers for storing data values. Go variables. I think this will be the last one we'll do, and then we'll come back to this next week. Feel free to work ahead if you'd like. If you want to continue using this, if you got a lot of fire lit under your butt and you want to learn more Go, feel free to go continue through this. In Go, there are different types of variables. For example, int, which is storing integers, float 32, string, and boolean. So float 32 are floating point numbers with decimals, so 19.99 or negative 19.99. 32, I think I'm going to say, is a 32 point floating number because it has 32 on it. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me I'm an idiot. So I'm assuming if you're using 64-bit integers or 64-bit floating point numbers, those would be something else. 32-bit code. Okay, so Lady P, thank you. String stores text such as hello world. String values are surrounded by double quotes. So that's why we have the double quotes. I didn't know if they actually made a difference between single and double quotes in Go. Some like Python makes the difference between single quotes and double quotes, and actually then they have like the triple single quote, which is a really weird one. That's beyond the scope of this discussion, but you can go and look up the triple single quote deal. More about variable types can be explained in the Go types chapter. Oh, that's way down on the line. All right, we'll get to that eventually. Um, all right, declaring or creating a variable in Go. There are two ways to declare a variable with the var keyword. So var makes sense. Var being variable, followed by the variable name and type. So syntax is the var variable type equals value. So you can always specify either type or value or both with the. Is that the walrus sign? Is that the thing? I remember something about the walrus sign. Let me see. Walrus code. Yeah. Okay. The walrus. I remember. Okay. So, um, I remember that because there was a lot, and it. To be fair, I've seen VI and Emacs, and the walrus thing was very ugly, 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 ugly. There were a lot of folks on various channels. I believe I believe it was the most caustic on Python. Um, it got really ugly and really political. I think people actually quit whole communities over this walrus thing. Um, so um, yeah, that one. Yeah, see walrus operator controversy. Yeah, and this was definitely in Python. I knew that. Yeah. Um, this got really, really ugly. If you want to read up on them, but I do remember that specifically. I follow a lot of different things and a lot of different feeds, and that was quite a controversy and got real ugly here. Yeah, enhancement. So that yeah, that's Go. That's Python, but apparently it was much easier in Go. I don't know why. Maybe it was always in Go and adoption into Python was a thing. So, all right. So they call this the walrus sign. With the walrus sign, it's a colon and an equal sign, followed by the variable name, colon equals value. In this case, the type of the value is inferred, or the type of the variable is inferred from the value. So you can put variable name. So like, I don't know, what do they got an example down? Okay, so x equals 2. So they're inferring that this is a number, right? Or an integer of some type. Um, so of the types, we have integers, floats, strings, and booleans. Um, I would imagine if 2 was a string, you would want to put quotes around it. Um, um, and I'm assuming it's treating it like an integer because there's no decimals. So it's going to assume that it is an integer because you didn't make it 2.9 or something like that. Um, and it's not true or false. So, the only one it has to go for because it didn't have double quotes around it, it didn't have a period, it's going to assume it's an integer. I'm just keeping an eye on my chat window over here in case somebody tells me I'm an idiot, but um, that's my guess. It's going to infer using the walrus symbol that x is an integer of 2 in this case. The variable types of student and x is inferred from their values. Um, if the value of variable is known from the start, you can declare the variable and assign a value to it. So if you don't want to use the walrus, then I guess the best way to do it would be to variable. So you'd set variable name, which would be x. The type would be int, and then you would put the value of 2. So in this case, it would be something like uh, why you no suck. There we go. All right, let's just do it that way. And you would say, I'm assuming you put the variables up here. Var x int equals 2, something like that. That seems like that would be the most likely, unless you just wanted to say, let it guess. So in Go, all variables are initialized. So did I put it in the wrong place? Yeah, I put it in the wrong place. Okay, so I'm an idiot. It actually goes x. I am a idiot. So you would go here and say var int equals 2. Let's get that out of there. Or, you can also say var or x 2. That's what that would look like if you did it that way. Oh, but you can, so wait a minute. Didn't do it right. No, okay, yeah, okay, so they did it a third way down here where they declared the variables, in this case, var a string, and then later on down you could say format ln a, but okay, but it didn't declare what the value of the variable was. I'm not. Okay, here's the free variables. By running the code, we can see they've already got the default values of their respective types. Oh, I see. Okay, so if you don't give it a value, the initial is an empty string. So A, B, and C is an empty string. So you've got double quotes because it's a string. B is an integer, right? B is an integer. So the only integer it can have is 0. It can't have null because null is not an integer. And C is a Boolean, so the only values there are true and false. So those are what will pop up if you did it that way. All right, so yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right, so let me open up a new one here. Actually, I will just do that right there and go var a string. Did that wrong. Me. Okay, var a string var b int var c bool, and then fmt dot println a fmt println b fmt println c. Okay, and then we're gonna save as, and then we'll just do a variable deck dot go, and then variable deck dot go. Okay, so yeah, you don't see the single quotes because it's an empty set, right, or an empty area. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so the 3 examples, yeah, it's empty, so it would be empty, so it wouldn't show up, but yeah, that's what you're saying. So it initializes as false, it doesn't initialize as true, so that's interesting. So I guess if you don't, I guess that's a safety thing. You don't want it to always equal true, you want it to be not provable, because that can cause some issues, so that makes sense. Example, so package main, import MFT, function main. Let me see, so we'll just pull this out. And then var student1 string. All right, so it's going to set student1 to be a string value. Student1 equals John, and it knows that it's a string because there's double quotes around the string. I'm assuming it will throw you an error if you tried to put student1 equals 0. because it's telling it to look for a string, but you're not giving it a string value. But yeah, we'll deal with that later. You can definitely try that later. You could just print ln student 1. Okay, and then we're going to file shift, and it's going to be variable dec go 1. Save, and then 1. And John is the student, of course. So it's going to print student 1. Student 1 is John. Call student. All right. So let's say we said we did not put the single or the double quotes in there. Control S. So we're going to save that, and then I'm going to run it again. Should give me an error. Right. Cannot use 0 untyped int constant as string value in the assignment. But I can put, so let's say the person changes their name to 0. Maybe they're Elon Musk's kid or something. And then you should be able to 0. Okay, so yeah. You can put numbers in there, but you have to treat them as strings. So, all right, let me back that up. There we go. Shift S. All right. Difference between var and the walrus sign. There are some small differences between var, and the walrus sign. Var can be used inside and outside of functions, but walrus can only be used inside of functions. Okay. So if I was wanting to set a variable outside of function main, I could not use the walrus out here. So I couldn't say, student John. That would be wrong. That would not work because it's outside of the main function. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. And then assignment, declaration, and variable value assignment can be done separately. Okay. Variable declaration and value assignment cannot be done separately, must be done in the same line. That sounds like that would be complicated and painful. Oh, I see. Okay, so like up here, where we assigned the variables up here, var, and then added. So you could assign them up here, but then you can call them later on down in the script and call them a certain function like x equals 12 or something like that. You just have to, up here at the top, it's going to say, well, variable A should be a string, so you're looking for John, with your quotes or what have you. Down here on the bottom. So A. So format, like if you said your var equals, if you didn't set student 1 up here, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So to set use your walrus, you have to do it inside the function, and you have to set the value immediately. It cannot be done separately, so it must be done on the same line. That makes sense. Okay, I understand that now. Right, so this is what they did. They said var a int. Maybe later on down the line. Oh no, you can't do that. Oh, you can set var outside of main. Okay, and then you set main inside. Right. Okay, so if you wanted to set like a D right here, so in this case you could say D walrus test. You have to do it there. You can't say var D and then or you can say D and then let it go without anything, and not call test using the walrus command. So that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, that would result in an error. And so you want to create a variable named mynum and assign a value of 50 to it. So var is mynum and set it to 50. I use tab to go between the white space there. And then you would say mynum. That should work. Ding. Okay. Cool. Um, I think we need to put it up for the night. I don't want to. I'm not saying I'm really hot and ready to go with this, but I do want to pace myself. And my wife is probably wondering where the hell we at for dinner. So, yeah, I hope everyone has learned something. I know this is going to be fairly remedial for those of you who named their firstborn assembler or what have you. Um, Ultimately, I want to start this and move on to, yeah, Walt, you have a good evening, have a good weekend. But yeah, I'm just trying to build the ground and the foundation for all of this, so that way when we get to a point, we can actually start doing things like maybe creating APIs. I think there's at some point we'll the go.dev site has like, here's how to create a simple and easy API, and I'm like, oh, wow, that sounds pretty cool. So there will be opportunities to go and do, they actually have their own tour and playground where you can play around on site of go.dev and do learning resources and go by example. And there's other go for sizes. It was a site that I think we've called out before where you can go in and build APIs and things using these things. So cool. Well, I'm expecting to be back on Tuesday, if not sooner. So have a great day. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Stay safe. Hopefully, you won't be shoveling too much snow. But yeah, hope everyone has a good day. And so, Lady P, I would have named my firstborn NMI. Uh, See, you're gonna have to explain that one to me. But yeah, you could have named him Deck. Could have named, yeah, anyway. But yeah, cool. Everyone have a good day, good evening, good weekend, and we'll talk to you all very soon. Bye, y'all.